Chapter 6. Lisa learns to take revenge. Becoming a beautiful girl changed everything for Lisa. Her siblings started to play with her, and everyone who had either shunned or tried to bully her before wanted to become her friend now. She began to play more and more in the garden every day. However, Lisa still had a kind heart, and she was friendly to everyone in the kingdom, including the rabbits who had laughed at her and despised her. After her talk with King Oliver, who had disclosed that her birth mother was in the Dwarf Hotot kingdom, Lisa had tried to return to the fairy's garden to try to ask for her help. She wandered all around, trying to find her way back to the garden, but she was unable to find the entrance. Distraught and disappointed, she made her way back home, and told Queen Lucy that she couldn't find the garden again. The fairy garden? Queen Lucy asked. You wanted to return there? Yes, I wanted to thank the fairy and ask her a question, Lisa replied. What question? At that point, Lisa simply smiled and told Queen Lucy it was a secret and that she couldn't tell her. Queen Lucy laughed, then explained to Lisa that she wouldn't be able to find the garden again. Is my heart no longer pure and kind? Lisa asked, saddened by the news. No, darling, your heart is still as pure as when you found the garden, Queen Lucy consoled her. Then why can't I find the garden? It isn't because of anything you've done. The garden has a rule which prevents it from being found again by the same rabbit. Only someone who hasn't found it before can find it again. The explanation seemed a bit complex for Lisa, and Queen Lucy explained that some bad rabbits could decide to follow Lisa to the fairy garden and abuse the power there. Like a bad king? Lisa asked. Bad king? Who is bad king? Queen Lucy was confused. Oh, bad King Jack of Dwarf Hotot Kingdom. How did you hear about him? He wasn't a bad king. Queen Lucy seemed to realize something and touched Lisa's face. You are beautiful, my dear. Thank you, Mommy, Lisa said. So, I can never find the fairy garden again. Yes, my dear. That answer seemed to soothe Lisa, and she thanked Queen Lucy with a hug before leaving to play in the field. I'm happy that your siblings are playing with you now, Queen Lucy said. Queen Lucy was much impressed by the fact that Lisa had never fought with any of the rabbits, not even when larger rabbits were bullying her. She never used the fact that she was a princess to have them punished. If only she was as smart as her siblings. Queen Lucy looked at her back, retreating out of the door. But she makes up for it with her kindness and warm heart. Back on the field, Lisa was hopping around with her siblings, who were glad to play with her. Never had Lisa felt such happiness. May I touch your ears? Your ears are adorable. One bunny looked at her with envy. I hope I can become as beautiful as you are. Would you like to play hide and seek? One of Lisa's brothers asked. What is hide and seek? Lisa asked. She had never played it before. They looked at her in amazement, and one of them proceeded to explain how to hide and seek worked. They would all hide, and she would come and find them. That sounds like a fun game, Lisa said. Close your eyes and count to 10 while we go hide, they told her. Lisa did as she was told, closing her eyes and counting to 10. King Oliver was watching them from the shade, glad to see that Lisa was playing with her siblings. She needed to receive training if she would deliver his long-awaited revenge. His desire for revenge was burning hot now. He intended to break to Lisa. How it was going to affect her, he didn't know, but he knew she would feel pain. He loved her like his daughter. Poor girl, it was breaking his heart. But he knew that it was something he must do to seek his revenge against Jack. The anger of hatred was burning in his heart, nearly choking him. Lisa played with her siblings, and she managed to find them all, even though this was her first time playing. She slowly made her way over to where King Oliver was watching them. Hello, Daddy, Lisa greeted him with a broad smile on her face. How are you, sweetheart? King Oliver asked, and his thoughts of revenge interrupted. I see that you enjoyed playing with your brothers and sisters. Yes, they taught me a new game. Once they had reached 6 to 8 weeks old, Queen Lucy had weaned them off her milk. Now, they ate a lot of alfalfa hay and pellets every day. Weaning them had not been easy, but Queen Lucy was strict. She was already pregnant with new babies, which meant she wouldn't have time to focus on this litter anymore. They all lived in separate rooms, but they were close to parents so Lucy could check upon them. Now, she wouldn't be checking up on them anymore. That had been 2 weeks ago, and now they had all developed feeding skills of their own. Each of them had a particular food they favored over the rest, and it often made King Oliver laugh, watching them try to determine which food they would eat and which they would not. Their sense of smell had developed quite well, so there's no concern about them eating plants that are not edible, though a watchful eye was kept on them to ensure they were all safe. They were princes and princesses. If they had been common rabbits, they could have left their parents and lived on their own. King Oliver spent most of his time either playing with Queen Lucy or making decisions concerning the kingdom, but he still found time to watch over his kids. He was delighted to see them grow up and hop around the grasses. It had only been a week since they'd played in the garden for the first time, and already they were grown enough to play hide and seek. Oliver's eyes were focused on Lisa, the one who had once been ugly and grown slowly compared to others. King Oliver knew it wasn't like that for all Dwarf Hotot rabbits. He had seen a lot of Dwarf Hotot babies and understood this. The rabbit fairies had made her look beautiful, and it was like he was staring at a younger version of Nyla. His beautiful Nyla, whom Jack stole from him. If it weren't for Jack, she would never have left the Holland locked kingdom, where he would have kept watch over her. When the news of her death reached him, and he had felt torn but had waited patiently. Now Lisa looked just like Nyla. The sight filled him with grief. He regretted lying to Nyla, and now Nyla would never see her daughter. But he also felt gratified. He had raised Lisa well and could stare at a younger version of Nyla every day. "Come here, my little princess. You are so beautiful. You look just like your mother." A smile crossed Lisa's face as she ran up to her father. She sat beside him and started to play with his long ear, which made King Oliver declare, "Stop playing with my ears, or I will tickle you." "No, you don't tickle as well as Mom," Lisa said. "Oh, you want to see who can tickle well?" King Oliver grabbed Lisa and he began to tickle her all over, which brought several rounds of laughter from her. She ran away from King Oliver, who was glad to see her laugh. It reminded him of the first day he had laid eyes on Nyla, back in King Jack's Great Hall. Lisa's expression was the exact replica Nyla's, but she was livelier than Nyla. "Father, I want to grow up quickly and get my mother back. I hate Jack. He tore you and Mother apart." That statement made King Oliver pause. He looked at Lisa closely. He was not sure exactly how to break the news to her that Nyla had died. "My poor girl, your mother will never come back. That bad Jack has killed her," King Oliver said sadly. For a minute, Lisa stared at him, trying to figure out what he meant. His words slowly sank into her brain, and she it dawned on her. Her mother, the one whom the king of the Dwarf Hotot kingdom had stolen away, was dead. Lisa had thought that she would meet her mom, but it seemed King Jack had deprived her of the opportunity. "What? Mom is dead. But I wanted to meet her," Lisa cried, tears beginning to fall from her eyes. The news had reached King Oliver 2 weeks ago, and his first reaction had been doubtfulness, then sadness, then anger. He had chosen not to break the news to Lisa. But when he saw how beautiful she looked, and how much she reminded him of his dead Nyla, the hatred in his heart exploded. He decided that breaking the news to Lisa was the best decision to press her into action. In a few weeks, with enough training, she would be able to fight Jack. There was only one possible hitch in the plan that King Oliver would have to take care of. Like her mother, Nyla, Lisa was kind and had a friendly nature. If he was going to get his revenge, he needed to make sure that she felt no kind feelings towards Jack. Jack would suffer when Oliver's revenge came at the hands of his own daughter. Sweetheart, you are so kind. It's important that you remember, Jack killed your mother. I loved your mother very much, King Jack started. You must avenge her. You must learn skills, not only how to bite, but how to dig dirt and fight from General John. Lisa's face was streaked with tears and snot, which King Oliver wiped away as he comforted her. She needed to stop crying and start training. Okay, Father. I will study hard and seek revenge on that evil King Jack. Her words brought great joy to King Oliver, and he planted a kiss softly on Lisa's head. He told her to wipe away her tears and go play with her brothers and sisters. I shouldn't practice with General John, Lisa asked confused. You will, but not today, Lisa. Play with your brothers and sisters. You can start your preparations tomorrow. Lisa nodded and hopped away from King Oliver. Once she was gone, Oliver made his way to his palace and told his squire to fetch General John. Is everything all right, my lord? The squire asked. Yes, things are finally going my way, King Oliver said with a broad smile. Lisa spent the rest of the day playing with her siblings, but later, when they all went to their rooms, Lisa made her way to the garden. She was sad and wanted to meet the rabbit fairy and talk to her about her feelings. That she might not find the secret garden again made her also feel dispirited, but Lisa wasn't discouraged. She continued to search for the garden entrance, wandering around aimlessly. It was dark, but suddenly she felt a soft blanket under her feet. Glancing down, she saw red rose petals covered the ground. Fireflies surrounded her, flickering and illuminating a path. Lisa's eyes brightened. I'm in the garden, she whispered, surprised. Yes, my dear, one of the fairies wearing a white dress said, appearing before her. I decided to allow you into the garden one more time, but only you and no one else. The rules of the garden remain, but our queen can make exceptions, another fairy in a green dress said. She is our queen, after all, she indicated the fairy in the white dress. I met you last time, Lisa said, smiling, a twinkle in her eye. Yes, beautiful girl, the queen said. My mom told me I wouldn't be able to find the garden again, but I wanted to come and talk with you. Yes, I sensed the purity of your heart and sensed you were in distress. First, I want to thank you for making me beautiful, Lisa said with a smile. Everyone plays with me now. Even my siblings like me. I'm glad to hear that. But I also learned something, Lisa said with a hint of sadness. I have two mothers. One that gave birth to me, and another who raised me and gave birth to my siblings. The queen was already aware that Lisa was a Dwarf Hotot rabbit, which meant that her birth parents couldn't be the king and queen of the Holland rabbits. Both were Holland, and Lisa was a purebred Dwarf Hotot. And where is your mom? The queen asked. She used to live here with my dad, but she was taken to the Dwarf Hotot kingdom, where she was killed. My poor girl, the story was a sad one, and the queen comforted Lisa, giving her a hug. She asked if Lisa was okay, and Lisa nodded, though she told the queen that she was feeling sad. I better leave now, Lisa said. Thank you for letting me come to the garden again. The queen liked Lisa, and she wanted to see more of her. She watched Lisa start to leave, and then called after her, "Do you like coming to this garden?" "Yes, I love how beautiful the flowers and trees. Also, I love those juicy leaves you gave me." Lisa turned her head, smiling. Her smile was charming, and the queen asked her if she would like to continue coming to the garden, to which Lisa nodded. "Then you can come and eat all the leaves you like," the queen said. "Can I eat the leaves now?" Lisa asked in excitement. "Yes, you can. There are more than we can eat. You would be helping us." "Thank you," Lisa binkied happily as she made her way over to the leaves, which she started munching on right away. Thus began a routine for Lisa. In the morning she would play with her siblings in the garden. Afterwards, she would train with General John, who had started teaching her how to fight. Then she would go over to the fairy garden, where she would play with the fairies and eat their delicious leaves. The leaves that Lisa ate in the fairy garden were making her healthy. She no longer shook her head aggressively the way she used to. She had promised the queen that she wasn't going to tell anyone that she was still eating the leaves. Before John started to train with her, Lisa watched him from afar, not getting close to him. She had thought of him as scary, but now she realized that he wasn't frightening at all. "Little princess, let's start the class," John said. "You have learned how to dig a hole, which is good if you need to escape. Although you'll still need more practice." Lisa learned many things from John, the first being how to dig a hole. Her digging skills weren't the best he had ever seen, but nevertheless John was impressed. "Most noble pet rabbits generally don't dig holes," John said. "That is something wild rabbits do because they need to protect themselves, and they often live in holes because they don't have houses to live in like we do. Don't they get cold in the winter? Yes, they live in holes where it is quite cold in winter and can be easily attacked by other animals. That's why wild rabbits usually live very short lives. I feel so bad for them. Yeah, some of the wild rabbits were abandoned by humans, so they don't have the skills to survive in nature, John continued. We have perfect lives compared to them, so we don't need to dig holes. But I learned to do it, as you will. I can dig a shallow pit, then lay down inside and cover my body with leaves so my enemies can't find me. I understand, Lisa said. So, should I carry a lot of leaves when I fight with enemies? Good idea. You are so smart, little princess. Lisa learned more than how to dig a hole. She picked up a wide variety of skills, and King Oliver, her father, was impressed at how much she had learned. John must be doing a good job training you. Soon, you will be ready, Oliver told her. The next day at training, Lisa said to John, "General, my father said that I have learned a lot of skills. What will you teach me today?" "Today, I will teach you how to fight. I always win. I've only ever lost once, and that was because Leah doesn't like the war." King Oliver had mentioned John's skill in warfare to Lisa, telling her that John was the best fighter in all of Holland. He had never lost a fight apart from the battle at Dwarf Hotot Kingdom. "Was that when you went to save my mother?" Lisa asked King Oliver. "Yes. King Jack defeated me and told me that he would not let me have Nyla, even though she wanted to be with me," King Oliver told Lisa. That had made Lisa sad. King Oliver had reminded her that she must not forgive King Jack, for he had murdered her mother, embarrassed her father, and kept her parents apart. "Father told me about that," Lisa said to John. "He said I should learn everything you know about fighting and war. My secret is to hit the enemy and then bite. I make a cooing sound to express my fury." After pausing, John continued. "When I fight, I hit them directly and then bite their fur, ears, and tail." Lisa hung on John's every word. She knew what an excellent general John was and wanted to become a talented fighter like him. "General, you are amazing. I admire you so much." "Thank you, little princess," John said. "But you should know, it's a little hard to bite the enemy's ears when you are fighting Dwarf Hotot soldiers. Their ears are too small and difficult to reach." "I have a question, General." "Ask away. I would be surprised if you didn't have a few." I heard my father say that your defeated enemies also make cooing noises, that they often hide aside and secretly insult you. Are they angry? John had expected Lisa's question to be related to fighting, so he was surprised by the question. However, he laughed, amused by the fact that she wasn't afraid to ask him this. John chuckled. Their cooing sounds are a sign of fear. And yes, I often hear them scolding me secretly. It was something John was used to, and it didn't bother him any longer. These rabbits who had lost to him in battle were weak, and whatever they said in secret didn't matter if they couldn't say it to his face. John had no interest in the words of cowards. I saw you were cooing to Miss Leah, and you also chase her. Do you want to fight her too? That question caught him by surprise, and John coughed in embarrassment. He knew that Lisa didn't understand some social interactions. She hadn't asked into his private matters to embarrass him, she was just naive. No, no, little princess. My voice is low and gentle when I coo at Leah, John managed to say. I ask her to marry me, but she always runs away. I guess she doesn't love me. Talking about this with Lisa made John a bit depressed. He loved Leah and was sad that Leah wouldn't return his affections, running away every time he approached her. Does Daisy want to marry you? Lisa asked. John looked at Lisa, amazed that she had come to this conclusion. Daisy was just a young rabbit who followed him around, nothing more. She is a little girl, and marriage isn't on her mind. She is simply curious about me. Leah had filled John's heart, but he had kept it a secret. She was a black and white Holland lop, though many female rabbits were more beautiful than Leah. To John, she was the most attractive Holland lop he had ever set his eyes on. She was big, and like him, she looked after her health and was always clean. Even her house was clean and beautiful and looked like the scenery in the painting. John wasn't aware that Leah was already in love with a Dwarf Hotot rabbit named Ryan. Despite Ryan and Leah's love for one another, they could not be together, for the war between kingdoms had separated them. Relationships between Dwarf Hotot and Holland lop rabbits were frowned upon. It had been love at first sight between Ryan and Leah. One day, Ryan saw a unique bush that he had never seen before. The green leaves were lush and dense. Golden flowers clustered among the leaves. When a breeze passed, the leaves and flowers floated like an elegant dancer, and he could smell the fragrance. Wow, it's so beautiful. What kind of plant is this? Why have I never seen it before? He said to himself in amazement. He walked into the bush and smelled it. It's not poisonous, he thought, tasting a leaf. It's delicious. I'm going to pick some for the king and queen, and my friends. He started picking honeysuckle. Ryan was a noble rabbit, and he had no idea that the honeysuckle was a treasure of the Holland Kingdom. He thought that it was just one of the free plants in the garden. Honeysuckle helped prevent many diseases in rabbits such as influenza, lung fire, illnesses related to the respiratory and digestive tract, and febrile diseases. This was the reason why it was a treasure in the Holland Kingdom. They held a honeysuckle party every month, and Queen Lucy would distribute a honeysuckle leaf and flower to everyone at the party. When Ryan picked up the honeysuckle leaves, Leah caught him. Ryan had a large frame in Dwarf Hotot and was a professional doctor. He was responsible for checking all kinds of plants of the kingdom and testing their toxicity. Although he was bigger than most Dwarf Hotot rabbits, he was still smaller than Leah. Who are you? What are you doing here? Leah asked him. I'm Ryan, Mississippi. I am collecting some leaves from the bush to bring home. Who are you? Ryan answered. Don't you know these belong to the Holland Kingdom? The guards punish anyone who tries to take them without permission from King Oliver. I'm sorry, Mississippi. I didn't know that. I thought it was a public bush. Shock filled Ryan's face as he realized that he had committed an offense. No, it's not. It's the treasure of our kingdom. At that moment, the Holland soldiers arrived and realized Ryan had been pilfering from the honeysuckle bush. Ryan knew they would try to chase him and catch him. And Ryan had no idea where to go. If he ran, it would only be a matter of time before he got caught. What should I do? Ryan said to himself anxiously. Come to hide here, Leah pointed under her belly. I don't think you meant to steal. You're right, I didn't mean to. I just made a mistake. Come hide here, Leah urged. If they catch you, they will send you to the jail. Hurry up. Oh, okay. Ryan hid under her belly. Leah was bigger than Ryan, and he fit there perfectly. He remained there until the Holland gave up their search, and Leah let him go. But Ryan didn't seem to hear her, and he began to doze under her belly. It is very warm, he said in his dream with a smile. Oh my God, Leah pushed him. Please wake up and go. Sorry, miss, Ryan mumbled, awakened by Leah. Can I leave now? Yes. Thank you very much for saving me, miss, Ryan said politely. You're welcome. Ryan began to walk away, then turned and asked, May I have your name? I'm Leah. That's a great name. Nice to meet you, Leah, Ryan said, looking excited. Thank you for saving me. Leah looked at him and smiled. He is interesting, she thought. I'll remember your name forever, Ryan called back loudly as he walked away. Leah stood there, watching his shadow disappear into the flower bushes. He is very handsome. Perhaps the most handsome rabbit I've ever seen in my life. She felt like she was in the dream and her face warmed with a blush. From then on, they had visited each other, and their love had blossomed. They often played together in the garden. But then the war between the two kingdoms came and they couldn't see each other anymore. Leah really missed Ryan, and she wished to see him, but there was nothing she could do. General John was unaware that Leah was pining away for someone else, and he took every opportunity to talk to Leah. Leah had a lot of respect for John as he was the highest general in the kingdom, but she wasn't in love with him, and her heart already belonged to Ryan. Her rejection hurt John, but other female rabbits were already vying for his attention. Daisy was a new addition to Lady May's garden. She was a Holland lop who was healthy, beautiful, and lively, though much younger than John. Despite their age difference, she seemed fascinated by him, and she stuck close to his side. John had first tried to send her away, but gave up when he realized how relentless she was. She followed him everywhere he went and asked him innumerable questions. John answered her questions out of politeness, but he didn't have a romantic interest in her like Lisa had suggested. She is a close friend, but I have no interest in marrying her. Leah is the one I wish to marry. Oh, I see. John continued with class for the day. Lisa learned everything John had to teach her, and she often watched General John hop around in the garden, Daisy by his side. When she was done, she made her way to the fairy garden to play with the fairies and eat leaves and flowers. She felt pleased, but there was still a dark shadow looming over her. The revenge King Oliver had his heart set on. Every day, she thought about retribution against King Jack for killing her mother. On this peaceful night, may all beautiful dreams surround you, cradling you into a night of good sleep. Good night.